What is up and what's happening, Auburn fans? How are we doing this Friday evening? Tonight, we're here to talk about the Alex Golesh era starting off for the Auburn Tigers. And it's the 84th edition of Auburn Primetime Live. And I'm your host, Blake Lane. Glad each and every one of you could be here tonight. Fill up the comment section, man. We're going to be taking all your comments and things like that. I want to hear from each and every one of you. But first, I want to uh, say rest in peace to Philip Marshall, a longtime journalist for the Auburn Tigers. Passed away. 247 reported it earlier. Nathan King, and just praying for his family, his children, his wife. Just terrible, terrible stuff. I just saw on Twitter like a day or two ago that he had posted an article. So super sad stuff with Philip Marshall. I think Mike said it earlier in the game day group chat. He was like, I didn't always agree with what he had to say, but the man loved Auburn and he cared about Auburn. And I think that's people that you want writing about the university that you love, right? And so I I hate that this got reported and this happened. So just pray for his family. Just sad stuff, man. Sad news today for all of the Auburn family. So with that out of the way, we're going to talk about Alex Golesh. And if you see the graphic, it says obsessed with USF, right? Because I was scrolling through my comments on YouTube the other night, and I scrolled down and I saw one that I missed, and it was like, you're just another one of these Auburn podcasters that's obsessed with USF and thinking that him bringing the USF guys over is going to play out, and you're just obsessed with the G5 thing. Okay, here's the thing with Alex Golesh and the whole G5 thing, and I'm not obsessed with USF. I'm not obsessed with the G5. What I am obsessed with is the work ethic of Alex Golesh. What I am obsessed with is his ability. Excuse me. What I am obsessed with is his ability to bring those players that he thought could play at the P4 level and which he thought could play at Auburn University in the Southeastern Conference. That's what I'm obsessed with. Okay. I'm not obsessed with the University of South Florida, and I'm not obsessed with your entire roster. I'm obsessed with guys like Fred Gaskin, who produced, who put up numbers, who had 53 tackles last year, 28 of them solo, who had 2 picks at the safety position, a spot where you're young, so why not add a veteran who you think can play and help this defense in DJ Durkin? What's wrong with that? Well, it's not being obsessed with the University of South Florida. It's not being obsessed of what you lost in the wide receiver room. And then you go out and you add guys like Keyshawn Singleton, and you add guys like the Neptune, and you go out to the running back room and go get a Davenport from USF. Like there's nothing to be mad about there. Okay. Like, yeah, I'm obsessed with Keyshawn Singleton after losing somebody like Eric Singleton Jr. and Cam Coleman and Malcolm Simmons, and then we go get a guy that had 50 receptions and 877 yards and 8 TDs. Like I think the year before that in 2024, I think he had like 400 and something yards. So we went and got a guy that has almost 1,300 yards receiving, and you're just obsessed with USF. No, I'm not. I'm obsessed with the production of these guys that are coming in. That's what I'm obsessed with. I thought it was just thought it was kind of weird that this whole USF to Auburn thing, it's oh, Auburn is just so in love with USF and you want our roster, and I almost commented back because he said, "Do you think?" He said something like, um, he said something about Auburn and USF and the SEC, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, Auburn went 1-7 in the SEC last year. It really, you were 30 minutes away from going 0-8. If you don't make a quarterback change and you don't have the pick six there in Fayetteville, you might go 0-8. So what are we sitting here yapping about, acting like Auburn was just something special? Why are we doing that? Not special. Am I mad that we lost some talent? Yeah, man. Sure. Like, dang, I wish you could have stayed. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to piss on our head coach who feels like, hey, I'm creating something here. I'm creating my own culture. I'm creating my own work ethic. I feel good with the guys that I'm bringing in. And I feel like they can compete at the highest level. That's what I'm obsessed with. So it would be different if he was bringing guys. Here's my thing. It would be different if he was bringing guys that were true freshmen and they haven't played a ton of college football. They weren't producing. And he was just like, you know what? Let's just bump up to the SEC. Let's go get on Auburn's roster. But he didn't. That's the big thing for me is he didn't go that route. He brought production. I think we have to look at it and be excited about that. And I told y'all, I think last week, are all these guys going to pan out? No, they're not. They're not. That's just how it is. And we've seen it multiple times with going and getting G5 guys from the lower level, right? Not all of them pan out. But I think that's why you see on the offensive line, man, he went and got a mixture of kids. He went and got G5, P4, true freshmen. He went and got dudes that are on their 5th year, 6th year. Like, he wasn't playing around. He said, hey, we're going to go get a mix and we're going to see what works. That's just, I'm excited about what he's doing at Auburn right now. And I think it's got a little different flavor than what we've seen in the past. And you look at him down in Mobile this week. I see him making stops at high schools in Mobile. The safety at Williamson, the Scott kid, he decommitted. He stops in there. He's like, hey, man, let's take a picture, throw it up on Twitter. I'm here to recruit. I'm sure they had a little conversation. He spent some time with him. He's hard after it. Look, man, I don't get a lot of sleep. I get dark circles underneath my eyes. I work nonstop. So I can relate to Alex Golesh because every time I look at him, he's got the same dark circles, dog. And I know what that means. You ain't getting enough sleep. You ain't getting enough sleep. And that means, like myself, when I'm getting up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm taking my tail to work, I can relate to Alex Golesh doing the same thing because apparently people are riding by the facility and the lights are still on and cars are still in the parking lot at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. They said that used not happen. I think I was listening to Charlie 5, Kyle Rush. I think I was listening to one of his episodes, and he said something about Hugh moving practices to all mornings. So in the afternoons during the week, they could go play golf. It's different, man. That's what I'm obsessed with. I'm not just looking at the whole G5 thing. I'm also looking at how Golesh rocks his confidence, his swagger, man. That dude, I said 1,000 times during the Hugh Freeze era, and if you've been watching me for that long, what did I always say about Hugh behind one of these right here? He was piss poor. He was piss poor. It was terrible. It was awful. He never looked enthused. Like he never looked energetic. He never looked like he ever wanted to be there. You watch Alex Golesh, man, when somebody sticks a cell phone in front of his face and they're like, hey, we're recording you, and they ask him a question, watch him. He don't care, man. He's bright. He's sitting there and he's like, yeah, I'll answer all the questions. I'm here to work. I want to answer everything. I think the dude's, I think he's ready to go to work. I think he's full of hard work. That's what I'm excited about. So I don't want to hear anything else about the G5 thing and the USF players and all of that. I think it's lazy. I think it's lazy. Especially right now. You know, I told you the other night, I wouldn't even bring up who just won the national championship. I'll bring up another program, Iowa. Just a bunch of dudes, man. And everybody's like, well, why are you bringing up Iowa? I'm like, because they win games. They win games. And it's just a bunch of dudes out there that are well coached. They believe in one common goal. Position coaches do what they need to do, and they win football games. They go and get FCS guys from North Dakota State and Montana and all that, and they bring them over there to Iowa, and they win football games. I'm not worried about the whole USF thing. I'm not. I'm worried about Alex Golesh and what he can do at Auburn University. And I love the way he's going about things. You can see the talent that he's bringing on campus. You can see the way he is moving around the Southeast. I think there was a picture of him on a plane this morning, and it was like 7:30 in the morning. And they were like, man, Alex Golesh is at it early. Hard work, man. Hard work. Let's get over here in these comments. JD says, War Eagle, how are we doing tonight? How are we doing tonight? War Damn Eagle. William says, War Damn Blake, how are we doing, my guy? War Damn Eagle, as always. War Damn Thomas, how we doing, brother? Hey, okay. Hey, how we doing, man? How we doing? Thoughts on Auburn basketball right now? Okay, yeah. Let's talk about Auburn basketball. I got you right here. Thoughts on Auburn basketball. So, you know, as many of you know, I had a little short clip episode that I posted from a live that I did a couple weeks ago when Stephen Pearl was taking a lot of heat. They were on his neck, and a lot of fans were saying that he needed to be fired. And I was just like, look, let's back off of Stephen right now, because I don't think this is his fault. This is a super young team with some crafty veterans mixed in. It's one returning player from last year's Final Four team. It's going to take a minute for this thing to happen. It's going to take a minute. And then now you're starting to see that this Auburn basketball team is starting to click. They're starting to play better on both ends of the court, especially defense. I think Sebastian Williams-Adams is excellent. I think he's a rising superstar on both ends of the court. I would like to see him get better at shooting free throws, but like I said, he's a true freshman. Not going to harp on him too much, but I think he's great. I need Tahad Pettiford to stop starting slow, and you know he's been picking it up as the game goes on, but he's been off to some slow starts. And we need a full 40 minutes of greatness from Tahad, especially come March in the tournament. But Keyshawn Hall is a superstar. I think he's possibly an NBA player. Keyshawn Murphy seems to be stepping up as a leader on this team, and I think that's exactly with losing a guy like Cardwell, and then you lose a guy like Janai Broome. I think you need a guy like Keyshawn Murphy to be that vocal point and be that leader. The only downfall that I can really see right now with the stretch that you have went on with beating Ole Miss, beating Florida, beating Texas at home, The only downfall is the whole Magwood thing and like him not really like panning out right now to what we thought he could potentially be. And I think that kind of hurts. But then also you can't cave into players, right? Like you can't just play him after him being bad. Like you benched him. I think you did the right thing. I think that's definitely how you go about it. And I think Steven's in the right. And Magwood's just he's gotta put in the time, the effort, and find his way back into the rotation. But right now you're not there and somebody else is getting your minutes. And even if that kid's not quality, I mean, he's what you got right now because you're struggling and you got to find a way. It could be disciplinary. It could be not showing up on time to practice and things like that. Um, you gotta you gotta find a way. You gotta find a way. And I think Stephen Pearl and the staff is doing an excellent job. Yeah, you lost some pivotal games that could have really boosted your resume early. You got blown out in some, but let's be honest, that was a team that just wasn't ready. You weren't gelled together. You were still learning each other, the chemistry of each other, the flow of the game with each other. Haven't played a lot of basketball with each other, but guess what? You're starting to see it all work out, and you've started adding some big wins to your resume. And so tomorrow, when you go to Knoxville, which is an extremely tough place to play for the Auburn Tigers, has been for years. We've gotten some crap calls there and some tough finishes, but Barnes and his team, they're going to play defense. So Auburn's going to have to get buckets. It's going to be, I think it's going to be an extremely tough game for Auburn, but can they win? Yes, absolutely. You have the superstar ability of a Tahad Pettiford, Keyshawn Hall, Elijah Freeman, who, I kind of harped on earlier in the year about, he takes some plays off on the defensive end of the court. But man, I mean, dude has been an absolute star for us. So he's been that plug in, that spark plug, that electricity. I'm big on Elijah Freeman, but you have those guys that if they start feeling it, Sway, and if they start feeling it, and you get a couple of Keyshawn Murphy threes to go down, man, that's when Auburn really starts clicking and rolling. But it's going to be a battle on the boards. Got to continue to shoot free throws well. I think Auburn has done a really, really fine job lately of shooting free throws, especially down the stretch. So super excited about this basketball team. Tough stretch continued here in the next couple weeks. But if you can get a win tomorrow, look out, folks. The Auburn Tigers on the hardwood could be a force. And you're only 2 games back of the SEC title right now. Looks like as bad as it started at the beginning of the year, it doesn't look so bad now, right? I mean, what did they start 1-3 and now you're 5-3? You're on a 4-game heater? Okay. 2 weeks ago, you wanted to fire the man. It's not all bad. It's not all bad. And I think a couple weeks ago, Steven said, hey, you probably felt the same way about my dad back in 2019 when that team started 2-4 in SEC play. How'd that work out? They went to the Final Four. Now, do I think this team's going to go to the Final Four? No, I do not. Yeah, back-to-back Final Fours is extremely difficult. But hold the phone. Don't give up on them just yet. Could this be a week 2 team or a second weekend type of team? Could they make a Sweet 16? Sure. You have the guard play. If Tahad Pettiford wakes up and puts a full 40 together, you got the guard play. I'm just a little scared about how you're going to match up with some of these teams like Purdue and Arizona and all them again that we've already played that have the towers down low. Because we got absolutely bodied the first time around. Can Steven make adjustments and things like that in a rematch with those types of teams? That's what I'm worried. I think Auburn I think they've turned the corner a little bit, and I think they're looking up. So really, really great stuff from Stephen Pearl and this staff, and super excited. But y'all, baseball season is well on its way, man. We are going to have elite content right here for Auburn baseball. And as you know, I announced on Twitter earlier, I have accepted the assistant coaching position at Cottage Hill Middle School to help coach their baseball team this season. So Monday is my first practice. It goes from 5:30 to 7, and I'm super excited, man. I'm thankful for the opportunity. My guy Tev is the head coach out there, and he called me last night, and I took it this morning, and I'm excited. I can't wait to work with these kids to get them to the next step at the high school level. And what's really crazy is I played high school ball at Cottage Hill, right? And the guy I played third in high school, and the guy that played short, Trey, he just become the head coach of the varsity team at the school, at the high school. So pretty crazy that 18 years in the future, would we have seen ourselves coaching the varsity and myself helping out the middle school team. Life comes at you fast, right? It's crazy that we find ourselves back trying to support our school and the school that we love, right? Like I love Cottage Hill Christian Academy, and I want to see them win a state championship. I played in a semifinal, 3-game series when I was in school and got absolutely heartbroken. But I want to try to help these kids move further along and get up into that high school ball, and try to accomplish something that hasn't been done at Cottage Hill. So, but yeah, I'm still going to be on baseball content. I'm still going to be on Auburn football content. This show is not going anywhere. My guy Brett, I know you asked that earlier. We are all good over this way. Yeah, Daniel, I touched on it at the start, man. Rest in peace, Philip. Rest in peace, man. Tough news, and I hate to read anything like it. I really do. I hate it. Sucks. It sucks. I predict we have a losing record again in football. We're gonna see, man. That's it's a tough schedule, but hell, everybody's got tough schedules. So I mean, it is what it is. You got to go out there and put it on the field. I think one thing that helps us is all the chemistry on the offensive side. I think that's going to do numbers for us, man. It's not like previous years, right, where you got a new guy coming in at quarterback and he's got to learn the terminology, he's got to learn the system, and can he run the RPO? And we have to sit here and try to piece things together in the offseason. Can Auburn's offense do this? Can they do that? I think you're coming in this year with all chips in a stack, and you're pushing them to the middle of the table, and you're saying, "Hey, look, we've got this thing down pat. We just needed our defense to be something similar. Auburn's going to come out and run the football. Auburn's going to play to what they have as an advantage." As Alex Golesh said, we're going to play the numbers, man. If we feel like we can spread you out and we can run the football, we're going to do it. If we feel like we can spread you out and throw it and get vertical, we're going to do it. But Auburn's going to run the football. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. Miss Devin says, War Eagle fam. Let me pull that one up first. War Eagle fam, War Eagle, Miss Devin, how we doing tonight? I never interacted with Philip, but apparently he had me blocked on X. Rest in peace. Praying for his family. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Bo Wallace has me blocked on Twitter, and I have no idea why. I don't think I've ever interacted with him a day on Twitter, but somehow he has me blocked. What are you most excited about regarding this year's baseball team? For me, it's the pitching. Got a lot of good arms. I am excited about the pitching. Somebody just rang my doorbell. I am excited about the pitching. One thing I am really, really excited about is I'm excited about the lineup. I'm excited about what could happen with the middle infield. I am excited about a lot of guys that we got time last year. A lot of guys that they pitched in big time moments. They were, a Bristol Carter who wasn't an everyday starter, but he can dang sure go out there and be one this year. There's Cade Ballou coming back. Like so many returners coming back. But then, like you said, the arms, man, like your shortstop, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna hit a buck 20 this year? Like that's I love Fabian to death, but he fell into a little slump last year and he couldn't hit himself out of a wet paper sack, if we're being honest. And I think that's a big reason why Coastal ended up beating us, because Eric Guevara had the injury, and I think they were gonna move that infield around. And I don't think Fabian was going to be on the field, and it played a massive factor into us losing that series and not advancing to Omaha, Nebraska. Um, so I am excited about that, and I think Auburn has a lot of pieces this year. I don't think they're very thin like they have been in the past, where a couple of guys are injured, but if you get those guys back mid-season, man, this team could be really, really deep, and you could maneuver some pieces around, right? Um, I think there's a lot of pop in the lineup. I think Chase Fralick is going to be even more deadly this year. Super excited about him. Once again, a great two-strike hitter. Falls behind in some counts last year and digs his way out of it and gets some knocks, man. He just grew so much as a true freshman. I think this team is super talented. I think this could be one of Butch's better teams. But once again, the SEC, it will eat you up and spit you out. So you got to start early. You got to have some success early. You got to go out to Arlington, Texas, and have success. Get things rolling. Win a couple SEC series and start quick. So super excited about the baseball team. Super excited about this football program and where we're headed. I know times haven't been great, but I think it's headed in a different direction with Alex Golesh. So thank y'all for joining me, man. Everybody have a great weekend. I will probably do a watch along tomorrow for the basketball game. I hope so, just depending on what goes down here. Stay safe in this weather, wherever you're at. Snow, just freezing cold temps, whatever we got, man. Stay safe out there. Stay safe on the highway, all that good stuff. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I think we're like 9 subs away from 1,100, and let's get there, y'all. Click the like button, share the video out on social media, all that good stuff. War Damn Eagle, and I will see you soon. If not tomorrow, Sunday. War Damn, baby. I'm out.